make me small. Good morning on the chain. Buckle up because today is the perfect snapshot of a world splitting into two directions. On one side, Ripple XRP are exploding globally. Now, the UK just announced its plan to become the world leader. You heard that here first, the world leader in crypto, inviting foreign stablecoins like the RLUSD directly into its financial ecosystem. Now, Abu Dhabi at the same time is greenlisting RLUSD for institutional markets. This is all big news. We're not seeing that here in the US yet. XRP shows up as a top performing asset with insane holder metrics, and Flare Delegation is onboarding a whole new wave of XRPFi users. And that's exciting shit.
Yeah, and on the other side, the geopolitics, as usual, absolute chaos. John Deaton dropping some major truth bombs, some exciting stuff coming up about his campaign. We'll kind of workshop here. Senators are basically melting down. Trump's lighting the internet on fire again. It's got tariffs, immigration, taxes, the whole thing with Tim Walz, called him a name people are objecting to a lot more. The UK is on a societal free fall. I give that country 5 to 10, Jeff, and it's over. Australia mocking progressives. They got a whole movie coming out about this. I love this so much. We'll take a look at that. Gen Z ditching the woke labels. We were told, Jeff, that it was just the way society was going. Turns out, not at all. Tucker and Piers going total Tarantino on each other. And you got cryptos building, you got politics burning. And guess what, Jeff? We are connecting the signal behind the noise. You're always going to get signal here, never noise. Are you ready?
Never noise. We're ready.
Oh, you're ready. I just want to know. Ready. I hope everybody's ready. Is everybody ready? Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Welcome, everybody. Drop in. Where are you coming in from today? Where are you coming in from today? Anybody know? Where? We want to know. We want to know. Inquiring minds want to know, Jeff.
Figure it out.
We want to know exactly where people are coming in from. Rocket and Countdown liftoff.
I have a feeling it's a nice emoji that we can't see over here.
Wait a minute. You're in Baton Rouge? What's going on? This is not Norm. Not in celebration? Or is it because of the holiday? Is that why you're in Baton Rouge?
He's celebrating.
What's up? Army Blue Wrench crew over here. Good morning from Northeast Ohio.
Confusing. So confusing now that YouTube changed everything. We got to dissect names and try to figure things out.
Yeah, the whole idea they're not letting you put a space between there. It's just stupid, man. You know, again, your display name. I wonder, can you change your display name? Because your display name, you can put whatever you want, right? Technically, your username is whatever, but I don't know if they let you choose between your screen name and, what actually display your display name and your actual handle. So I don't know. Yeti Country coming in Zober 863-16785. This is dumb what they just did with this whole thing. Veins Journey Denver. We're finally getting our first snow of the season. Whoa!
Oh, there you go.
That's pretty late in the season, really. It depends where you are. But at Denver, I mean, Mile High City, it should be.
Dean Robinson from the Naval Air Force Station, Pensacola. There you go.
Pensacola, home of the Blue Angels. All right. Beautiful, man. People coming in from all over the place, sharing where they're. It's Thanksgiving with mom. Very cool. Say, good shout out to mom. What's up, mom? So say hello there. So it's great to have everybody here with us today. There's so much going on in the ecosystem, Jeff. There's so much amazing stuff. We never can quite,
never get to it all.
If we did a daily show, we could get to it all.
Right. And we used to do a daily show. That was a lot of work. But it amazes me. It amazed me that there's continuous progress and development, even in the worst of times, during the massive lawsuit, even with the downturn of the crypto space, it was continuously moving forward and building. In a downturn, you can't stop building. You got to keep pushing forward. Otherwise, you're not going anywhere. So really, really good stuff. XRP leaving OIA and heading to Homestead. OIA is that the Orlando International Airport?
I believe so. Yeah, Brightline. I've taken the Brightline down to Miami. I've never taken it up to. Does it connect to Orlando now? I guess they opened that up, right?
Oh yeah, it goes all the way to Orlando, right to the airport. I've never actually been on the Bright Line. I threatened to take it one time, and then we drove
Jeff,
instead.
it's actually cheaper to fly. I'll be honest with you. So I was like
It's
looking at
actually
like flights to Orlando versus
so
like
expensive.
the first class line of the Bright Line train. It's like it was like
Mhm.
when I wanted to go, I was like, dude, I can drive there. You're there in 2.5 hours.
Right.
A lot of people don't want to drive. If you don't feel like driving, or obviously if you flew out of the airport, you didn't maybe took your car up there. So that makes sense, but
Yeah.
it's
True.
just weird, you know.
So true. So true.
So that's
But it looks nice. It looks like a cool
there you
way to
go.
travel, and they're gonna open up to, Tampa soon.
Did you
They're
get the
working
first
on
class
that
one?
development.
It's not innovation, bro. It's cost. It's like they wanted like $340 per person of a family of four. And I'm like,
It's
dude,
insane.
I can get tickets for like $120 to fly up there. So that was like the first class
Mm.
car though. If you want to just be in with everybody else, that's But when you go to the train, I like to take the first class train. So Jim,
Should
these
be I guess it's killing too many Orlando pedestrians.
I don't know. It just seemed pricey to
That's
me, but
so
that's just me.
mm.
Yeah, absolutely first class. Do you mind if I ask how much you paid for the ticket? Because again, this is about a year or two when I was looking at it. Because even going down to Miami, it was like, what? I was like, you can take the regular train down there versus when you got like multiple people to cart down there. It's like you're gonna pay $1,000 to go to Miami, dude. I can drive there in an hour, so it's like, why would I?
Where's the isn't there a stop around Boca somewhere? I forget
Yeah,
exactly.
there's a stop
Or
right in
Palm
Boca. Yeah,
Beach-ish. Yeah,
yeah, right in Boca.
which is kinda cool.
Right off Yamato.
And then it would be kind of a fun trip to go down like that. I like that. Yep.
Coming in from Columbus, Ohio. See that? C, but it's Columbus. That's how you abbreviate. It says Jay Wolin. Joe Buddy. Joe Buddy 5136. I hate this for Jeff, by the way.
Yep. Fix the backup train thing in Tampa. That's a problem. You
Ybor
know,
City.
eventually they're gonna connect the Bright Line across over into Tampa. So if you can get across 60 or across kind of I-4 and then bring it back, and then if you can do a full loop around, then come down 75 across the alley, and then now you're connecting the whole thing. That'd be pretty sweet. If you come across the alley down south 75, come back around the southern part of Florida, of Miami, and then connect back where it ends. Man, that would be quite a circuit.
Sure would be. Look, we got Brisbane, Broncos forever. And I know some people who root for the Broncos in American football. I have a front buddy there that obviously he wants to root for the Broncos because it's the same team name. Problem with Brightland is going through Brevard County. The residents don't like to wait for the train. That's where our delays come in sometimes. Oh, Brevard. Interesting. So, yeah, there seems to be a little controversy going on with the Broncos logo here, too. Let's see, Brisbane,
All sorts of
Broncos.
controversies with the.
There we go. See, it's like the whole thing with the logo. There you go. There's their new logo. And
Which one?
for 2026.
Which one's the new one?
This one here.
One on
This
top?
one right, yeah, this top
Okay.
one, Brisbane. And then
And the old one is that one?
Yeah.
I think I like the new one better.
Someone called for the outgoing logo to be reinstated while others applauded the modernized version of the badge. Well, what I like about this is that this is actually, I can see history, you don't want to mess with it too much. But that to me looks more like it's a badge, which is cool, and it goes with football. It makes sense.
It actually looks more badass. The other one looks like
this is rugby though.
Sorry.
These are rugby players. Tough guys, man. These guys get hit, man. I don't know how they do that, but it's still, you have a badge versus so we got removed from that.
Ahead.
Yeah, now the Orlando, Miami. There you go. People like to pull on the tracks. Brevard County and Brightland usually end their life, which makes us wait longer for another train to come by. Oh man, I don't know. Some people, there's always a train track too that sometimes people will pull, like they get way too close. I'm like, dude, you don't see there's a crossing here. You don't know there's tracks that go across the street. You go over it every day. Like it's just
it's
the
mind
level of stupidity is hard to understand. And it's funny, Jeff. I've always said that, in life, if you want to be some type of a professional, you got to study for it. You got to be able to pass some sort of an exam to be able to get a license, whether you're like a nurse or if you're, pass the bar to become an attorney. A license, dude, you just get a license. It's like pulling it out of a cereal box. You like get a license. Everyone gets a license. Like you might then be denied first, But now everybody can't be good at driving, Jeff. They just can't be. It's just like the law of averages do not provide for everybody being able to be a great driver. And we know the people that aren't the great drivers, right? But it's crazy to me. And these are the people who like, oh, I wonder if I should pull on the tracks here. Not a good idea.
Yeah, let me wait. But the crazy thing is, most of the people that have been hit by a bright line have been pedestrians.
It's even dumber.
Well, think about that. Imagine you're just wandering around, you see a train track, and you're like, I'll just go and try to cross in front of this train.
Idiots.
God.
It's unbelievable stupidity in Brevard County. It seems to be the only county that I've been on the train and stopped twice because we've hit somebody. Well, that's because you don't ride the tube in London. That's why I liked Ricky Gervais's new for his new vodka. He was putting up, I mean, obviously a fake sign. He was putting up signs in the tube stations, and it was like, please don't jump in front of the train. You're gonna piss everybody off and ruin their day. Because you gotta sit there and wait. Now, even when I visited a couple of times, I've seen lines close down because that exact same thing happened. People think it's a great idea, kill yourself. Train's coming super fast. You jump, you get hit, you're done. You're out, just like that. Just a jump and you're done. Yeah, it's a lot of desperate people using trains to suicide. Correct. It's another thing.
That's it. Yep.
I guess it's easier just to do that, but
sometimes animals. We were going from we were taking the train from England over to France, and at some point along the line, some cow had jumped in front of the track, had wandered out onto the track.
Cow didn't make
it down during our process someplace.
Yeah,
I don't
free
think
beef for everybody.
Right. Yeah,
free beef shanks. Beautiful. Yay.
That delayed us for a couple hours as they figured it out, cleaned it off.
From Interlaken, Florida. There we go. XRP Hollywood, another OG coming in, getting stuck on the tracks is a privilege. Oh, is it? Okay.
A privilege.
Oh, I did not know. I did not know that. That was a privilege. Interesting. So interesting. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I say. Well,
all right.
I will say that I watched a lot of football. I watched all 3 football games on Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, Jeff. There were some really good games. I know you were rooting for the Lions. It didn't win.
Lions?
Probably the best halftime show I've seen in a while. It was Jack White and the White Stripes played some tunes. Eminem made a special appearance. It was just an upbeat, fun kind of a thing. And then they got this douchebag for the Super Bowl.
They lost.
Bad Bunny. And they just should call him Stupid Moron because that would be a more fitting name. He wants everyone to learn Spanish. I'm not learning Spanish, dude. I don't care. Nobody's watching it. I think they have an event, a side event happening, but don't bring people in that are stupid. I mean, don't bring people in that don't like the country, don't want to tour here because he's afraid he's going to get deported. He's from Puerto Rico. Music's unintelligible. My wife's a native speaker and she doesn't even know what he's saying. I go, can you translate this? She goes, I don't understand it. I don't know what he's saying. so it's like, she's like, she goes, that's horrible. This is like, so you're not a fan? She's like, no.
And that's who they brought in. Yeah,
not a fan.
All right, all right. Let's get into some crypto.
Let's go into it, man.
News.
Let's go into it. Ripple compliance and trust are non-negotiables for institutional finance. Well, I would hope so.
I don't know. I don't like the whole trust thing. That's
well, trust goes as far as you can throw it. So that's why Ripple USD has been greenlisted by Abu Dhabi's FISRA, enabling its use as a collateral on exchanges for lending and prime brokerage platforms. Like, okay, you want to do this? Let's play the game. Let's do it. Since you can't spell it out, ADGM, which is Abu Dhabi's premier international financial center for the International Financial Center of Abu Dhabi. Another major step, Ripple USD becomes the compliant, trusted settlement for the region. Now, this is huge, and you almost wish this would happen in more places,
right?
You know,
got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. So this is it right here.
They're light in years.
Here's sort of the presser on this one. It's now eligible for use by authorized persons licensed by FISRA to carry out applicable regulated activities, provided they satisfy and maintain compliance with firm-level regulatory obligations to relevant use of fiat reference tokens, noting that ADGM, standing as our leading international financial center, known for its robust and progressive regulatory standards. This represents a further significant step in establishing Ripple stablecoin as a trusted compliant settlement asset in the Middle East. In addition to the FISRA recognition, Ripple USD also recently received approval from other regulators within the region. So it's it's issued under the New York Department of Financial Services Limited Purpose Trust Company Charter. Ripple USD reached a market capitalization of over 1.2 billion since its launch in late 2024. So coming up on about a year since it launched. Stringent safeguards, including one-to-one USD backing by high-quality liquid assets, strict reserve management, and asset segregation. So you can see that there you go. There's what's going down. And this is UAE continues to set a global benchmark for digital asset regulation. It always seems like in some ways Abu Dhabi and other parts of the world are way further advanced when it comes to financial services. They don't have these slow.
There's just so much. Well, that's it. There's so much money over there that has to move.
Yeah. True.
And they want it to move fast. All right. So I mean, these are becoming financial hubs. And so as a financial hub from a global perspective, they're looking they got to stay ahead of the curve. If they don't stay ahead of the curve, then why would anybody want to transact over there? Right.
True.
Then they'll look for other options. They'll say, well, we're not going to work with your financial sources. Why don't we just go to London, or we'll go to New York, or we'll go somewhere else. But these guys are trying to broadcast themselves as kind of the business capital of the world. And they want to attract the wealthiest of the wealthy. They want to attract all the institutions. They're also vying for regional influence from that perspective. So that's why if you look construction wise, if you think about everything that they're attracting over there, and they want to make sure that even within the region, they're very friendly from a tourism perspective. So very business friendly, very tourist friendly. They're trying to go super high end with everything they do. And this is just one more component of it. So why they're really trying, they have to, it's all about the marketing hype of it. And so it's actually, this is a good thing, just to see it in a real world scenario. I mean, it's a great test bed to see.
But this is the reason right here. I've highlighted here, the regulatory clarity is crucial. Again, we don't have, well, we've got, when it comes to stablecoins, yes, but when it comes to all of crypto, no. But the regulatory clarity is crucial for accelerating the use of RLUSD in key enterprise use cases, including integration in Ripple's cross-border payment solution, enabling seamless on and off ramps for crypto ecosystem, and supporting capital markets via Ripple Prime. And that's just something that, they even bring in the crypto ecosystem, and there is not real clarity here in the U.S. still. I don't know. They're always squabbling about stupid stuff, and meanwhile, we just care about solid regulatory frameworks over here. What makes me happy is the SEC will have nothing to do with crypto once that bill's passed. And they're all like, we're going to do a crypto task force. Or you know what you're going to do? You're going to shut up, and you're going to do your 3 tenets of what you're supposed to do, and you're going to get back to business, and you're going to let the adults in the room, that's the CFTC, they'll handle it. And we don't have to listen for the SEC anymore. Had it with the SEC, Jeff. I've seriously had it with the SEC.
Had it with the direction they brought us.
And even the new guy, it's like, oh, the new guy is going to do things because he likes it. I'm like, that's sorry, but we don't have any, there's no real clarity on that. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, right. It's kind of silly. This is Matt Osborne. He's the policy director for the UK and Europe at Ripple. And here's play a little short video from him. We'll listen to him.
It's one of the world's leading international financial centers. So when it leans into crypto, this matters. Hi, I'm Matt Osborne, Policy Director for Europe at Ripple, and this is Crypto in 1 minute.
1 minute.
How's the UK approaching crypto
regulation? The UK is now acting to realise the benefits of crypto technology. The government and regulators are working to bring clarity to the industry. They're engaging with leading players, both homegrown and global, and that's a huge step forward. We're starting to see the results already, with leading UK financial institutions exploring what crypto means for their businesses. Though the UK is a little behind other jurisdictions, it actually has a second mover advantage, meaning it can look to other regions to learn what's worked and what hasn't. For example, the UK plans to allow overseas stablecoins like RLUSD to be used locally, supporting the UK's role as an international hub. Of course, challenges remain. The new framework needs to be implemented at pace, and the Bank of England has been cautious on stablecoins, though it's showing signs of a more constructive approach. The UK is recognising that proportionate, innovation-friendly rules are essential. If the UK follows through, it's on track to become a global leader in digital assets.
Not difficult to do it in 1 minute, Jeff, when you're reading it, you know.
Well,
I liked it
of
better when
course.
they just had to go
You
off
gotta
the
write it
cuff.
out.
It felt a little bit more real to me, but you see what you got going on here. It's like I was wondering what's going on with this blue line. The blue line travels all the way around until it gets to the bottom and turns red.
Oh, look at that.
So I was like noticing what's the blue line up to. So
We're
it's
starting
Oh,
to
look
see
at
the
that.
results
It's like a
already,
fuse
with leading
burning down,
UK
Jeff.
financial
What a great
institutions
idea.
exploring what crypto means for that.
and then
It's
once it
really
gets
quite
closer to the
good.
bottom, watch what happens. It
International
turns
hub.
red.
Of course, challenges remain.
Then
The new framework
starts
needs to
Oh,
be
look at that.
implemented
Now you're
at
coming up
pace,
to the end of your
and the
I
Bank of
like
England
it.
has been cautious on stablecoins,
I was like,
though
it
it's showing
distracted
signs
me.
of a
I
more
just was watching the blue
constructive
line. I don't know
approach.
what he said.
Yeah.
The UK is
I'm
recognising
guessing
that
it's something
proportionate,
important, but I was blinded
innovation-friendly
by
rules
the.
are essential. If the UK
It's
follows
possible.
through,
Do you
Like-
think that's a real scene behind him, or is that did they?
Well, that's
green-
definitely London, Jeff. It looks. Look at it.
I
Look
know.
how crappy the
But is that
webcam
real?
looks.
But is he actually standing there, or did they take an image and green screen it?
No, I think
There's
that's
nothing-
him. I think that's really him there. Who knows? It's a real scene. I mean, I know that. I mean, it's
Definitely a
look
real
at-
scene.
But
Yeah, you
man,
can see London.
it's cloudy, foggy London,
As usual.
which you can count on. I mean, that's far cry from where we are, Jeff, where it's
Yeah.
beautifully, gorgeously
Okay.
sunny, blue sky outside. I love it.
Mm,
Focus. What are we
it is
focusing
sunny
on?
outside. Look at that.
Yeah. Well, look at that. It's like, and when it's not sunny, you're like, oh, that's weird. It's not sunny. Like you're all freaked out by it. I want to talk a little about David Schwartz was on a podcast or one of these spaces. He was talking about smart contracts. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this, what he has to say about it. There's been a lot of
Sure.
criticism about the XRPL because it doesn't have smart contracts, was late to the game. Even though the conversation early happened, 2013, 14, they talked about it, but never implemented. But this is David Schwartz's take on the smart contracts.
Ripple probably should have prioritized smart contracts at layer one sooner. We didn't. We were more skeptical, and I think the big thing that we missed was that small steps would be useful. That we didn't have to be the best platform for smart contracts, and people would still be able to use those smart contracts both to distinguish their features, implement their business logic, and to tie existing features together. An AMM is great, but if it's not connected to anything else, it's not as great. It's nice to be able to sort of connect things together with business logic, distinguish functions. Because today, developers, if they want to build in the XRP ledger space, they either have to build XRP ledger features, which has a massive barrier to entry, and then get them accepted by amendment, which is extremely difficult, and it has to be something with mass appeal. Or basically, all they can build are wallets and user interfaces. Now, wallets and user interfaces are important, but it's hard to build a business around a wallet or a user interface. And if you can distinguish your actual financial products on chain, that makes it a much better experience and a much better platform for them to develop on.
Jeff, what are your thoughts on what he's saying there?
Looking for what his next is, because he's basically telling us that the XRPL is very difficult to develop on. That's what
I
I'm
didn't
getting
hear
at.
that so much. That's not what I heard.
There's a
what-
lot of tools.
what
Yeah,
bothered
what
me-
were you interpreting off that?
Well, when he was saying like when you saw in 2017 or I would say 2015, 2016 ish, when Ethereum was released and it was a smart contract platform, how were you skeptical? It was destroying everything. It was eating everything. I mean, there was always Bitcoin in the background, but Ethereum was it, right? And the
It
guy
set
that
the
founds it is a former guy that wanted to be an intern at Ripple, and he's the one that with Stefan Thomas who has the whole conversation while he's sleeping on his couch about smart contracts. So he goes and builds a platform. Like, I don't know if the choice of words was what he wanted to get at. Like, there was skeptical. Dude, how are you? Dude, nobody was skeptical of smart contracts. Now, if you said like, hey, we probably should have implemented it earlier, but our focus really and a lot of our energy went into the cross-border payments. We were really focused on a different use case. I'll accept that. To say you were skeptical, dude, nobody was skeptical of smart contracts. So I don't know if it was the right choice of words, because I don't really see Ripple being skeptical of it. I see them having their focus in other areas, you know?
Well, that's what it was. Yeah, Ripple. But we've been
skeptical.
saying this from day one. We've been saying from day one that, you know, if you look at development of certain ecosystems, like the Ethereum Foundation, the Ethereum ecosystem, it was built on a premise of getting it into everybody's hands, right? From the what was that kitty game, whatever, they kept testing it in all sorts of different ways, right? And it was all heavily fad driven. It was out there, you know, seeking and building FOMO across the board through utility and the ERC20s. So they understood, just like, you know, Microsoft understood, you know, just get it out there into mass adoption as fast as you can get it out there. Obviously, it had to be picked up and people wanted to have to be able to build on it, but they made it so easy to create and build and develop within it. But they also had kind of the ecosystem that built around it, the foundation that built around it, the money flow that built around it, the support mechanism that built around it. Ripple, on the other hand, is a separate entity and a separate company from the XRPL. So if you think about an XRPL foundation, an XRP foundation, an ecosystem driven to support developers to build in the space, that took a long time to get to where we are now, and it's still not fully developed. Whereas Ripple was heavily focused. They said, we got this amazing platform, XRPL, and we've got this amazing product, XRP, and we're going to create a cross-border payment solution that we're going to go into infrastructure, financial institutions, and banks, and we're going to change and revolutionize how people move money across border through institutions. They didn't care about anything else, right? So the fact that we even have a hint that, oh yeah, they actually cared about development of the ecosystem, and maybe they had 10% focus, maybe 5%, maybe even 20%. I don't know. But I believe that the majority of their emphasis and focus was building Ripple and getting Ripple to where it had to go. Because without that's their whole business. Their business wasn't, hey, can we get XRP more valuable? Hey, can we get other people to build on the XRPL? That was kind of a sideshow to their main product. Their main product was Ripple. Their main product was cross-border payment. And so were they skeptical of smart contracts? They missed the boat, even from a Ripple perspective. You know, they missed the boat on smart contracts. Why? Because the financial institutions, the banks, and the businesses all need smart contracts. So why wouldn't we implement and say, hey, as part of our moving the money, product, there's escrow accounts. How are we going to leverage escrow account for moving all these billions of dollars? How do we accommodate all these third-party solutions? How do we, set all these pieces up? That should be driven through smart contract. So they totally missed the boat on the smart contract. The question is, chicken or egg, right? Do they need to make sure that their seamless transaction cross-border solution, works efficiently and effectively? Because knowing that banks are super, super slow movers, does that come first? Can they always add in smart contracts later? Because then it also opened up the door to Flare. Had they done smart contracts, and maybe Flare wouldn't have happened. I don't know. Flare, is now talking about, if we're really looking at big development, they don't want to be siloed to just XRPL. Now we're talking about, being able to be interoperable amongst different chains. And that is really the biggest solution that comes out of it. So I'll go back to the main premise, is that Ripple shouldn't have been responsible for development of the XRPL and the space. that had to be navigated differently. Ripple did what Ripple had to do, and that's focusing on building their own business. And they've done a phenomenal job at doing that. The sideshow of the XRPL Foundation, I would have liked to have seen more money pour into it, and maybe that's where they should have really supported, said, hey, we've got all this money sitting here in escrow. Why don't we push some of the money over to the XRPL Foundation to help other people build in the space and develop? Let's make sure we can facilitate that. I would have liked to have seen that differently, but we're at where we're at, and Flare is the big benefactor, maybe because there was a need and they're filling the need. They're creating a solution for an actual problem. And the problem is the lack of smart contracts on the XRPL.
Well, another point that David makes, which is I think a good one, he talks about instead of trying to have like the full solution rolled out, they should have done baby steps. Like smaller steps would have been good, and having some smaller, maybe not the full blown contracts, but something that ties all this together, like you were saying, like that makes what they were doing usable by having some simple execution. Hey, if this happens, then boom, this other piece will execute. So smaller steps probably would have been a pretty good idea. But what I like the fact is being very transparent about it to the community. And this is something that Ripple's been pretty good at, is being transparent. And, listen, you can go back in your own life and you can say like, hey, let me go back to 2015 in my life. I was thinking about this, but I went with this. And maybe thinking about this was the better solution back then. But until you get some time, you always can look back, I always say hindsight is 20/20. You always see it clear looking back on it. But at the time, you're making some choices. And it's like there will probably be in your life one or two major choices that change the entire direction of your world, because you could have done X or you could have done Y. You chose X. Your whole world went in a different direction. So when you're a company like Jeff, you were explaining, was you have to make these decisions and choices. It's easy for us to sit here and criticize it, like, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that. But at the time, like you said, Jeff, they had their hands full with trying to connect the dots, make their software work, to cross-border payments. They were growing a business. I don't necessarily see Ripple putting a lot of money so another startup can come up and eat their business too, right? So you technically would be creating competitors or competitive, side stuff. Here it is right here. Utility is what it comes down to. Jim D says Ripple executives have shown their hand at having expectations of substantially higher XRP price since they all hold a lot of it personally. Well, some of them do. I don't know about David Schwartz. I know he used to hold a lot of Ethereum. He must have thought highly of it, but then he basically sold it out, which would be worth like $80 or $90 million today.
But he got some cool solar panels.
Solar panels on a house he doesn't even own anymore. That's the best. That's the best part. But listen, the guy's been transparent about that as well. Nobody has to be transparent. I've been transparent about losing, making some missteps, especially with Bitcoin. This is part of the space. You don't grow until you made some missteps. It just happens. You get screwed. You get scammed. You clicked on the wrong link. We've all kind of been there and gone through it. So none of us are immune from any of that.
No.
Mars says, well, we could all critique everything about what we want. Of course, that's what I was just saying. Like we could. Schwartz brought up, bought all his XRP, so he said.
Good. Yeah. Could very well be.
Yeah, it could be that he owns a lot of XRP. I know Garlinghouse does. We know Chris Larson does. We've seen his wallet used, but there's like a couple of it. I wanted to play this one here. Crypto Eddie put this really cool video out that I saw, and it's all about XRP stats and Doppler Finance. But this was from XRP Korea, XRP Seoul actually it was called.
Before we jump into the details, I'm sure you've heard this a few times already, but XRP is one of the top performing crypto assets that exist out there. We have top 3 in market cap, top 3 in holders count, but also top 10 within the trading volume of all crypto assets that exist. Now, Doppler is, in very simple terms, is a yield vault. We provide a venue for XRP and RLUSD to earn yields. And the best thing is it's all native. So there's no bridging, there's no collateral whatsoever. It's all on XRPL, which makes things much, much safer. Very happy to share this slide as well. This shows essentially where and who our users are. Our users are sticky, loyal, and compounding. And I'm very proud to share that our retention rate is around 80% with an average holding of over 4.5 months. The recurring deposit rate is 30%. That means over 30% will deposit again within 3 months, which shows that our users love our product. We have a very nice product, and also very happy to be here today, key sponsoring and key contributing to XRP Seoul, because our user base is over 50% in Korea and Japan.
Amazing stats right there. It's amazing that it's good to see a little bit of transparency behind who's actually using it, what the average hold time is, what the retention rate, 80%. That's like pretty high. Retention rate, 80% do it, 30% will invest even more. So I thought that was pretty.
Like I said, they're also sticky.
Yeah, that's hugely sticky too. I mean, but it's just cool to see what they're doing. Also, too, I saw this post go up on X. It's by Burst Nodes. Delegating is one of the easiest ways to earn on Flare. It's also a great way to get started in the ecosystem while learning about different ways to use the XRPFi. And so they put out this video right here. This is kind of cool too, because they have a whole series on it. So I thought this is going to be highly usable for the community.
You've heard us talk about DeFi on Flare, but what if you want to start at a slower pace before learning about swapping, staking pools, and dApps? What if you got paid just for having the Flare token? When you hold FLR in your wallet, you can choose to delegate it to Flare data providers and earn rewards. No lockups, no smart contracts. You stay in control the entire time. Here's how it works. Flare uses decentralized data providers called FTSOs to bring accurate data from different sources on chain. Data providers all submit their data, and the more accurate their data, the bigger their reward. When you delegate to an FTSO, it's like voting for them. When they earn fees for providing timely and accurate data, you get a share of those as a reward. It's low risk, no hassle, and one of the easiest ways to earn on Flare. You can split your tokens between 2 providers if you want, and you can update or stop your delegation every few days. And remember, your tokens never leave your wallet. So if you're new to Flare, delegating is a great first step. It's simple, secure, and it pays. Need more help getting started? Visit burstnodes.com/Flare90 for quick guides on using Flare.
This is a great resource. So I was going to go ahead and put this up on screen too. And again, if you guys sign up, go to onthechain.io, scroll to the bottom of the page, put your email in there. You'll get a complete list of all of the links that we talk about here on the chain. And so you might have saw something cool, you want to reshare that, or you want to take a look at deeper dive on it. It's something I would really highly recommend you do. Here is it right there, Jeff. You want to go ahead and scroll down to the bottom there.
You just scroll
right down to the bottom.
Support us. You can hit subscribe.
Right down to the bottom.
All sorts
Boom,
of cool
right there.
You go there.
Put that email. All we do is send that. So when the show concludes, we send out this. We send out via email. You can click on the links, but it also has a link to the podcast, the audio form, and also the video. So you can basically see everything that. This is what the email looks like. So I can see that thing is broken again over there.
Oh, it's crazy. It's broken. All the images are broken. Sometimes they break.
Sometimes it takes a while to kind of like come in. There you go. I think maybe it just takes a while sometimes. I don't know why. It just
there you go.
Doesn't always come in. But anyway.
But these.
But I wanted to put this up here. Let's see. There it is. And let's go ahead and turn that
There
off.
are 90 seconds. That's really good.
So this is it. So they've got a whole 12-episode video series, demystifying the Flare ecosystem, short, friendly, straight to the point, done in 12, like 90, seconds each. This is backed by the Flare growth grant. So someone got a grant to create all this stuff, this education stuff. And so you can watch episode 1. And then you can go ahead. There's 12 of them all together. Here's the episode guide. They're all 90 seconds. So it's not like you're going to spend a lot of time looking at it. But here they all are right here. It talks about what is Flare, Flare explained. So this is a really good sort of a series right here to see exactly how this works. What are some of the highlights and stuff like that. So again, highly recommended. A great series to be able to see exactly what's sort of going on. And then I wanted to transition into some great news on John Deaton. And it was great that I got a chance to hang out with John up at swell in New York City. It was one of the after parties for Ripple, and we got to have. I was basically hanging out and chatting with him and Santiago Velez, who is one of the directors of the Zao. And here we go. And something John was mentioning to this, was chatting about, but he said, I know someone voters can turn and vote for Ed Markey come November of 26. Polling's already shown that I defeat Markey. And now with the Massachusetts GOP endorsement and no contested primary, this is huge, Jeff. One of the things that John talked about in our conversation was because there was a primary going on, his travel to go to meet with every local group, GOP group in Massachusetts was incredible. It was over 100 meetings. 100 meetings. And this is something he doesn't have to do. He can focus on that because it's an uncontested, because he has the GOP endorsement. So it's over. It's going to be a non-contested primary. He doesn't have to worry about anybody primarying. He's the candidate for the GOP. And largely because of the showing he had, he pulled 40% of the vote against Warren. Now, one of the other cool things that he talks about, and I'll actually let him explain it in one of the videos we have here, but he says he knows he can win the seat. I need your help. Donate when you can afford it. And, look, $10 here. If you're outside the country, you can't join, you can't endorse him. But if you live in the United States, you certainly can endorse John Deaton. So I would highly recommend people take a look at that. I've endorsed his campaign, full disclosure, believe in him, and, happy to donate. There haven't been a lot of candidates I've donated to. I donated to John's campaign last time as well. So,
So
yes, you will.
there you go. So and that was one of his mistakes last time that I think he's definitely, resolving. He came out, he didn't support Trump the first time around.
Well, he played a strategy. Look, there are no Democrat, there are no Republican reps in Massachusetts. So he was looking at it from wasn't going to support Trump, but he's also, the White House also wants him to run too. So this is another key factor. And look, you play it the way you think you're gonna get the most support. And he kind of came off, even though he's a Republican, he was coming off more as an independent and more of attracting as many people as possible. So you can say what you want about it, but again, you're not running in a blue state with no Republican reps. And even though there's pockets there, he played it the way he thought it was. It's easy for you to say that, Joe, but you weren't running and you didn't read the tea leaves. So I don't fault him necessarily for that. He ran a campaign the way he thought he would, best poised to succeed. So,
however, we did come out and say that was his mistake while he was doing it. I'll go down on the record for that. And you and I both had multiple conversations with him, in those early stages.
We did actually, off the record, of course.
But he had to make the decision.
It was his campaign. He ran it the way he wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't live up there. I don't know what it's like. I'm not the one that's running. I'm not the one that has to go out there and talk to people every single day. That's what he did. He had to make a huge decision. And as you look at how he ran that first campaign, he was the first one. Look how close he came. Look at what a threat he was to Elizabeth Warren. So he ran a phenomenal campaign. He did what he had to do. And most candidates don't win the first time out of the gate, especially someone that is coming that's not political. You step into that political arena and all of a sudden you're getting beat up from every direction, and so, if you look at the way he actually ran that first race and, had he supported Trump and got the MAGA support, and there could very well have been, lots and lots of money that came behind him to do it. But at the same time, he came out and did that thing on his own, and you could look back and you can say, hey, I was up against all of it. And he did it without, the big dollars flowing in, and he was the first candidate in a long time to get that far. And as, Chip had mentioned, in a heavily dark, deep blue state,
incredible
in his area.
He was running against Pocahontas. Okay.
The fact that he even put himself out there to go against her is terrifying. She was one of the biggest,
if you don't live in the US
in the space.
If you don't live in the US, what senators do you know?
That's
Who do
it.
you know?
And she's one of them. Yeah, she's top.
Now Markey, there's every state has two senators. Markey has been the other senator for 50 years.
Mhm.
I've brought Markey. I've said that, I'm supporting a candidate in Massachusetts running against Markey. Who's that?
Right.
50 years,
Exactly.
authored no bills, done nothing, sits there, career politician. And it's just a joke when you think about it. So they've got a couple of videos to watch here on John Deaton. The fact that the GOP is endorsing him, this guy is he's gonna win. You're looking at the next senator from Massachusetts right here.
And Chip, just before you play that, before you play it, I just want to say the fact that the GOP is now supporting him is because of everything that he did on an individual level to get, to do what he did against Elizabeth Warren. And I still think because of her notoriety globally, anybody who would run against her is a threat. And the other side, they have a machine in place to destroy you personally and tear you down. The fact that he even stepped into that ring and again did so well just shows the character of who he is, and what he's willing to do to put himself out there. I all the respect, for what John did. I mean, it's amazing, and the respect that he's built politically, the political collateral that he accumulated to have the GOP now get firmly behind him and the White House firmly behind him. That should tell you everything. I mean, that's massive.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the things that I think is really important to talk about when it comes to John Deaton is the fact that this guy grew up in poverty. It's bottom line. I mean, if you read his book, his book's sometimes hard to read, and all he went through, and he's totally transparent about it. And Warren tried to pull that card of trying to talk about, bad aspects of his world. What are your aspects of your world? You pretended to be a Native American so you could get a $400,000 cushy job, and your whole career is built on lying to people. Okay, your whole entire career and earning all the money, and you're always bitching about people making a lot of money, yet you're worth $80 million. Well, why don't you give $40 million to the immigrants coming here? Why don't you turn some of your money over? These politicians are so full of shit. And someone like Warren, an absolute, she's gaslighting us at every course. I mean, I do respond to a lot of her posts, but if you go look at any of her posts on X, 99.9% is hate, is opposition. Nobody responds in a positive light. I've gone through 1,000 comments and not found one comment positive about thank you for what you're doing. Nobody cares. She keeps posting, more propaganda and garbage. And the whole idea was, John, I watched a lot of these debates with candidates, some of the senator ones that were running, and John destroyed her in both of these debates. Unfortunately, probably weren't seen by enough people, but he destroyed her like I've never seen anybody. He was so well put together, and he's going to do that to Markey. Markey's an old, feeble man who's now trying to run around Massachusetts taking pictures with somebody. But here's the thing. Markey's getting primary, and we could have one of the squad running up against him. The woman with no hair, what's her name? Ariana Presley, she may throw her hat in the ring against. So you got so now Markey's getting primaried from his own party. John Deaton can focus on messaging, but he's going to go after Markey. He's going to destroy him.
A different element this time is that Ed Markey will face a primary challenge. Seth Moulton is already in the race. We've heard whispers that others may join as well. Is that to your benefit?
Absolutely. And while Ed Markey and them are fighting it out in a primary, I'll be able to bring that common sense message to everyday Bay Staters.
You mentioned last time you had your challengers. Another difference this time is you have the backing of the Republican State Committee. Does that sort of allow you to have those conversations with every single voter this time?
The endorsement from the mass GOP is something I'm deeply grateful for, that they've put their faith in me to lead the fight against Ed Markey, or quite frankly, any out-of-touch Democrat that comes out of the primary. But doesn't prevent anyone else from getting on the ballot. But certainly, when you look at my success last time, even though I lost, I was the first Republican to get over 40% in many years. And now I'll be able to reach the 64% of unenrolled voters here in Massachusetts. But not just them, Matt. I'll be able to go places where you haven't seen, not just a Republican, where you don't see Democrats go.
Beautiful. Here's another one.
Senate candidate John Deaton back again. Welcome back.
Glad to be back, Matt.
You challenged Elizabeth Warren a year ago, and now you're back. You're challenging Senator Ed Markey this time. And I'm curious, what brought you back?
I want to build on the momentum. I was a no-name candidate, and I took on a pretty big challenge taking on Senator Warren. But Matt, really, I understand people's struggles. When you learn my life, I've overcome extreme poverty, violence. I was a high school dropout, cancer, and people are really struggling here in Massachusetts.
You and I talked for months ahead of you officially announcing, and you seem to be really wrestling with the decision whether or not to jump back in again. So what sort of political polling numbers did you see that indicated that you might have a shot against Ed Markey?
I did wrestle with it, and I would only run if I truly believed there was a path to victory. Polling suggests already that I could edge out Ed Markey. And I think it's because people are just tired of the politics as usual. 1.35 million people voted for me last time, and now I want to reach another million.
Basically, the turnout for a midterm, he did the numbers, and if the same people who voted for him last time with the same traditional turnout in midterms, he wins. The numbers are on his side, quite honestly. So, and the fact that crypto is going to be a big part of his platform, the fact that, what he wants to do in Massachusetts, and while the money's all squandered, is going to be great. This is the one thing I noticed, Reborn John, that he said, man, he looks like in shape. So when I saw him, the one thing that I noticed was, I'm like, John, you look amazing. You dropped some weight, got some muscles, like he's been working out. You can tell. And he goes, yeah, I've been working hard at it. And the guy is really, it was one of the first things I noticed. And the first thing he noticed about me is like, I didn't think that was you. He goes, I'm like, is that Chip? Because I didn't have the long hair. I was like, yeah, I cut my hair, John. It happens. It's like, but he's like, I was kind of looking. I was like, I don't know. You look like you're, I wasn't sure because of your hair. And I was like, oh, yeah, I cut it, John. So it happens. So,
yeah. So here's where
doing the TV drug. No, not necessarily.
Here's where things are interesting in Massachusetts. If we look at it from a total breakdown, there's 4.8 million registered voters. There's 1.2 million Democrats. So about 25% are registered Democrat, so automatically they're voting Democrat. You can assume, and it doesn't always break that way, and many might not come out to vote. But let's say the Democrats, 1.2 million. Republicans, there's 402,000 registered Republicans. So as a Republican running in the state, you have to go around you have to get all of your GOP, you have to get the Republicans to come out and vote. If you can't get them, the majority to come out to vote, you're already in trouble. So his touring of all the GOP meetings in his area is vital to get the support, to get contribution, and to get boots on the ground knocking on doors, because the next part is what's going to bring victory for a Republican, and those are the unaffiliated. The unaffiliated make up 64% of the Massachusetts voting bloc, and that's 3.1 million people. So where does it break at that point? So you have to get Republican support, and a lot of times Republicans in those types of
are unenrolled,
states don't. 64% are unaffiliated.
That's where he
picked massive number. He has to pick up there.
And if you get the turnout, that's going to be big. I disagree with this. Jim D says Deaton, I think, is a disenfranchised blue dog Democrat. He might be better to run as a Democrat. I disagree. Now, if you've been keeping up with John's feed, a lot of endorsement, a lot of praise for Trump, what Trump's been up to, what he's been doing. He's speaking. He's very transparent. He's very on board with what's going on. And I would counter that, because I don't see any Democrat getting on board with what John's been endorsing, what he's seen there. Marquis says, damn, how long has it been since I've been here, Chip? You cut your hair? Yeah, I cut my hair, man. I cut it. As my wife said, she was glad that the homeless guy moved out of the house. She was like, God, the homeless guy's gone. Because that's when I'd wear it down and look a little shaggy, but it happens. A bit late. Hello from Belgium. Dirk Evander. What's up, Dirk? Good to have you here. We're talking some John Deaton crime stat. I agree. Deaton is a blue dog in mindset. I don't see him as a blue dog. If you guys aren't following his feed, go back and look at the last 5-6 months on his feed. You'll see otherwise. I think he's opened up the door. I think he's taken off the gloves. He takes a lot of shots, and he's not coming at it from a Democrat position at all, especially if you look at how he's gone after the governor and how he's gone after Warren. It's not just opposition for what they're doing. It's complete ideology opposition, which is what makes him a Republican. Now, you may see him, yes, he is pro-choice, which is a little bit different, and maybe you see him as a centrist, but I see him more moving to the right, especially what I've seen on his feed. And I've commented, John comes up on my feed, almost comment on almost everything he posts, not everything, but a lot of things. So I'd go back and review his X feed. I think you'd find out something completely different.
Yeah. I think Deaton is coming out now and, backing what Trump is
doing. He supports him on his feed. Look at the post, man. Go he comments a lot on what Trump's up to and doing. So, but again, you guys have to remember the way you have to play that. There are no Republican reps in Massachusetts. Let me say that. Zero. So
breakdown was crazy too.
What did you expect him to do? Hey, and remember, it's a lot different having Trump as the president. Yeah, I'm going to support my president. I'm going to support my party. Somebody going into a very hotly contested race. He played it the way he saw it, and I don't fault him for that. Jeff and I had other choices. We said, you got to be a supporter. Because you need access to the money. That was another big thing that we, needed. It's cool. Got those lines coming in there. It's from the window over there. Cool. The shades are open and it's like casting this cool, sort of a light. And then one more. I'm going to put this last one up here. But again, this is why I think John's going to be very powerful. What he's talking about right here is the Democrat mess and how he intends to clean it up. This is not a blue dog Democrat at all. Here's proof of it.
We have a dilemma.
He's definitely supporting Trump.
We are the first or second most expensive state with the least amount of job growth. And you want to know what the status quo's solution to it? Their solution to everything. Raise taxes, millionaires tax, candy tax, prescription tax. Have you seen the new surcharge on the car tax yet? That's right. They're taxing the taxes now. But potholes aren't fixed. Rents aren't coming down. We have a problem. This is what happens when one party is in control for too long. I have to tell you that I know that I'm not the perfect candidate. I wrote a whole book on just how imperfect that I am. I know that, but I believe that we all, whether we're a Democrat or Republican or independent, believe in some of the same things. Okay, we believe in lower taxes for working families so they can keep more of what they earn. We believe in less government overreach so small businesses can thrive and parents can raise their kids their way. We believe in choice. We believe in innovation. We believe in hard work still should matter. I don't even think that's a conservative Republican platform. I think that's an American platform.
He's right
about that.
That is.
Did you hear anything Democrat in that whole thing? Did you hear a blue dog talk on there? No.
That is an American platform, but he does have to come out this time around and support Trump. I'll agree to that. The fact that and he is backing, and like you said, if you look at his feed, he's supporting a lot of what he's doing. If the White House is coming out saying this is the guy that we have to get behind, he has to come out and support Trump. The other part is that this is a vital kind of midterm election cycle. There's a lot that is riding on it to make sure that we keep the House, to take the Senate. There's a lot that's riding on that, making sure that there's victory, going after in that state, going after the unaffiliated. There's a lot of those that are the unaffiliated are disenfranchised with the direction that state has gone. They're sick and tired of that blue direction. They want Trump. They like the Trumpism. They want the boldness of it. And they're going to come out and back him because of that. There's a lot of, obviously there's a walkaway movement. There's a lot of Democrats that have fled the Democrat Party that, would back a Trump. There's unaffiliated that are out there that are, maybe maybe they're centrist Republicans, maybe they're just centrists, maybe that's why they're unaffiliated. They're not Democrats, they're not necessarily Republicans, they don't know where they fit, and so those are the unaffiliateds, to get them, but many of them back, and like what Trump is doing, and maybe they're afraid to come out and vocalize it in a state like that. He's going to get that support, and it's really important. He has to come out now, to really back, and I think we're going to see things different this time around. Time will tell. He's already moving down that path with backing and supporting what Trump has been doing over the past years. So that's a definite positive, net positive, which is really good.
Yeah,
we don't get this. We can't vote for him, so we got to worry about holding on to Florida and getting the next best governor of the great state of Florida, which is going to be Byron Donalds.
Yeah. Fishback is running too, and I like Fishback, but he's playing in the wrong arena. I do like him a lot. We play him a lot here, but I think that Donalds is the much better candidate without a doubt. So.
And we don't want more rhinos in the country, but I think we'll get a chance. We'll have Deaton on the show again, talking about what he's doing, before the election. We do have Michael Carbonara coming on our show December 10th, and so that's going to be great. Then I'm hosting him at an event on the 11th, but he's running against Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Blabbermouth Schultz.
Yeah, Blabbermouth Schultz. There's a lot of candidates that have to be taken out. And there's some powerhouses that are finally rising to the occasion. And we're going to hear from Michael and hear about his experience in finance, in tech, and then also in crypto. And he's self-funding a large part of his campaign. So that's also super meaningful.
Crypto dude.
Get to where he's going. Crypto dude.
And he's a real candidate. He's a great candidate. It's really one of the best, strongest candidates that's run. Guy's well spoken. We're excited to have him on the podcast. We'll have a lot of great questions for him. But I mean, being in Florida, nobody can wait to get Debbie Blabbermouth Schultz. That's what Rush Limbaugh used to call her. She's a complete disaster, and I hope he attacks her well. But anyway, there was some meltdowns this week, plenty of them, of stuff that Trump said. They're very upset with him. But this is just one of them. A reporter asked him a question, and he did not hold back. Jeff, here we go.
The Biden administration,
because they let him in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person. And there's a law passed that it's almost impossible not to get them out. You can't get them out once they come in. And they came in, and they were unvetted, they were unchecked, there were many of them, and they came in on big planes. And it was disgraceful. And
he says, like, well, she asked the question, like, why are you blaming the Biden administration? He's like, are you a stupid person? I mean, really? And thank God, please, thank God, are you stupid? The best look was, there's another picture, they zoomed in our face, and she was all like frumpy and mad.
If you look, you'll see there was a law passed. It makes it almost impossible not to let them in, not to certify them, so to speak, once they come in. And they came in, and they shouldn't have come in. And frankly, the whole thing was a mess. The whole Afghanistan situation was a mess. It should have never taken place. If we're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go. We were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision, and we would have left from Bagram, and we would have kept Bagram, by the way, because of its very close relationship to China and where they make their missiles. But when you let the people come in by the thousands and thousands and thousands, they made a terrible mistake. But they were incompetent, yeah.
Why do you
incompetent.
Biden administration?
Because they let them in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person?
Yes, she is a stupid person, and yes, the media is
because
stupid.
They came in on a plane.
I mean, dumb question. Anyway, somebody put this up. This is the reporter trying to sleep, by the way.
Stupid. You're a stupid person. Stupid person.
He's trying to sleep.
Are you stupid? You're a stupid person. You're a stupid person.
Oh my God.
Are you stupid? Stupid person.
Are you a
Oh my God, you stupid person.
I was dying. Well, that wasn't all, Jeff. I mean,
I can't
the
get
thing
over
about
it.
it is, like, Trump doesn't even hold anything back. This is his last term. He's not trying to do anything other than just he's going to say whatever's on his mind. He's not holding back. And great, thank God for somebody saying it. I'm so tired of the stupid media asking, "Why do you blame the Biden administration?" Are you stupid? They all came in under Biden. Now trying to say because the guy who shot the guardsman and the one woman, she was 20 years old, she died. The reason she volunteered to take these other shifts so that they could spend their their Thanksgiving with their family, and she gets murdered. It's insane. And meanwhile, the guy that did it was brought in under the Biden administration, and the only thing that happened under Trump was his rubber stamped, but he did qualify. I mean, went through all the stuff. They didn't do enough vetting, but they went through, and because he had worked with the military, he was one of the people that helped the military while they were there. And so that was what helped Grant get him over here. But there's thousands of, like what Trump's talking about, of other people from Afghanistan that are not good people, man. They just let them in. Oh, you're a refugee? Come on in. I mean, like, there was zero vetting going on, Jeff.
So the thing is, you can take people out of that environment. You can't take that environment out of the people. If you don't vet them, if you don't work towards assimilation, if you don't work towards, you need to have a very, very strong screening process. And if you have individual people come in, well, then, you can do everything that has to be done. When you bring people in mass, it's impossible. Plus, they all stick together. So now you take all these, these tribal groups with this kind of a militaristic mentality, and you bring them into this country all together. You keep the groups together. You're not trying to assimilate them. They're not trying to assimilate. They come over here, and then meanwhile they stay all interconnected. And maybe they already had a nefarious purpose when they came into this country. We don't even know. And this is and we don't even know what was his motivation at that point when he was helping the military, helping the CIA. Was it all based on, financial gain, and then financial gain with a path to come to the US for more financial gain, right? Which, hey, I'm going to do what I got to do to support my family. The problem is, did you even vet the guy? What are his affiliations? How is he interconnected? And then, what kind of leverage is that affiliation putting on him and his family once you take him out of that environment, right? Is he completely going to be safe and secure over here without the influence from the other side? All right. And can you say the guy drove from Washington State, drove all the way across the country? It's not like he, just one day woke up and was like pissed off and went out and did it. He had to drive you to get in his car and plan it and drive all the way over, so the whole country is peppered with people like this. And these aren't isolated incidents. I will never believe that they're lone wolf instances. I believe they're all interconnected. It's all based on the purpose, because they've been peppered around this country, and they're going to keep acting, whether they go and destroy and burn down a church, or if they're going to shoot somebody, or if they're going to do something. It's all based, and we're seeing it throughout Europe, the same instances that of these events occurring, and now it's happening here. This is horrible that it happened, and it was 100% Biden's fault. It's his entire administration, not just him solely, because they brought these people in mass, millions and millions and millions of people brought into this country. Not one of them is assimilated. They didn't try to assimilate any of them. So they're taking their third world mentality, whatever goes in those countries, they brought it here, and all their connections, all the societal connection. It was a net negative. There was no net positive in this.
Zero.
It was all
zero. So another thing that lit people up, this is a lefty, this guy Brian Allen. He said, breaking: Trump just detonated online, used a derogatory disability slur to describe Minnesota Governor Tim Walz in public Thanksgiving message, no less. This isn't tough talk. It's the President of the United States calling Minnesota Governor Tim Walz seriously retarded in an official holiday message directed meaning. And this is it right here. The seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, he's saying, as an example, hundreds of thousands of refugees from Somalia are completely taking over the once great state of Minnesota. Somalian gangs are roving the streets looking for prey as our wonderful people stay locked in their apartments and houses, hoping against hope that they will not be left alone. The seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing, either through fear, incompetence, or both, while the worst country men and women in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab, and who probably came to the USA illegally, and that you're not allowed to marry your brother, does nothing but hatefully complain about our country, its constitution, how badly she's treated when her place of origin, Somalia, is a decadent, backward, and crime-ridden nation, which is essentially not even a country for lack of government, military, police, schools, etc. So they were very triggered by this. I'm happy that he's using this kind of language. I'm happy he's calling him a seriously retarded, because it works and it fits. And I'm so tired of the woke stuff. Jeff, when we called somebody stupid, we use the word retarded. Are you retarded? Like, that's what we did. There wasn't a slur against people who have mental challenges. You just called somebody who was stupid retarded. That's how it worked, Jeff. Last I can remember. Well, the Dilly meme team got a hold of it, and look what they did. They did a little meme on the Tim Waltz thing. I'll describe this for the people who are listening to us. We have a huge audience that listens to us, 3 times the size of the audience that watches us live. So thank you guys, everybody, for listening. Nobody understands what the short bus means, the short bus means that's where the mentally challenged kids rode. I've always said to people in like some comments, I don't think they understand. I'm like, did you ride the short bus growing up? because these were the people that were challenged, kids that had problems anyway. So in the background, you see the short bus, and out of the short bus, you see Tim Walz, which is another crack on him. Here's the song to go with. Here we go.
Tim Waltz.
Tim Walz, seriously retarded, without a doubt. Seriously,
definitely something problematic. But most of the, on that side, there's something mentally off about all of them, because of however you want to attribute it, they're all living in some sort of psychosis. Because why is it that they don't care about this country? Why don't they want to support the people of this country? Why don't they want to do what's right by the people of this country? Why do they want to continuously try to take? It's crazy to me. The whole notion of this. And we've set a different course, and one of the things that you read right in the beginning is the whole Gen Z that embraced this wokeness are now leaving the wokeness. There have been a lot of awakenings in this world that serve as both a direct warning, not just a word of caution, but we lived through it. We lived through what happened in 2020. We got the greatest president of our lifetime, that was cheated, and there was deceit at the highest ranks in our country, in government, that worked to unseat him. And at the same time, we had a global quote unquote pandemic that was thrust upon us, so-called that was thrust upon us and was a divider. We saw big financial moves, especially coming from countries like China that just weren't there yet. They took full advantage and they used it as to be elevated in stature. And then, in this country, the fact, and in countries all over the world, we saw the worst of human nature, come out on a mass scale. People always said, like during World War II, if the Nazis were come marching into town, would you fight them or join them? Most people would say they would fight them. But what we just saw and just witnessed and saw proof positive is that the majority of people would join them. They wouldn't fight them. They wouldn't stand up. It's always going to be the minority. They're going to fight back. It amazes me, right? Because we had 100%. In Canada, neighbors turning on neighbors, in countries all around the world where they were just subjugated, like in Australia, and they were putting them into detention zones. They could force them into a hotel and not let you outside, for 2 weeks, to go through and things that were happening in this country, in states like in Michigan or California, where restaurants were shut down for like a year, Florida, like 4 weeks,
Maybe
you know,
three. It was
it may be 3 weeks. But we saw the worst of human nature come out of it, and it was an awakening. It was it was kind of that moment of caution. Say, hey, we just lived through this. We're not going to let this happen ever again. Right now, it's time to change. What the same exact time, the Democrats in this country and this woke-minded leftist socialist, mentality across the globe allowed people from third world nations to flood into their countries and completely disrupt the flow of progress. UK, France, Italy, Germany, throughout Europe, we're seeing a complete upset. In this country, bring up like in Minnesota, in Michigan again, and it's just like, but we had millions upon millions of people flooding into this country illegally and not being assimilated into the country. Man, it's such a crazy time that we've lived through just in the past like 4 or 5 years. And it was that moment. Say, okay, we pulled back, and that was kind of Trump, 2020. Let's see what happens. Let's see how you guys are going to handle this without, and now we're starting to see positive direction. We saw crypto also, Chip, go through turmoil because of the leftist propaganda with the SEC and what they were trying to do. So 100%. and now we're seeing the opposite of it. We're like, okay, this is what you guys want to do. We're going to do something different.
Yeah, this is great. Joe says COVID got to teach every single adult, whether they were a coward deep down or not. We all know where we stood, good or bad. I'm proud I held the line. Did you? Absolutely, 100%. Jeff and I both held the line, and we were outspoken about it. I know somebody mentioned that, before XRP Plumbing mentioned how we're shadow banned, and they're shadow banning the YouTube is shadow banning the chat too, which is interesting. I want to play this. I want to segue to Australia here for a bit and talk about this new movie coming out. Here we go.
Once upon a time in so-called Australia, a culture war tore the nation apart. And somehow, the lefties won. And I should know, I'm the Prime Minister, Albo. This is my land.
Most progressive
Good morning,
movie
fellow white straight males.
Australia's ever made.
Hey, big boy.
Just as the elders foretold, this is Namageddon.
I'm gay and retarded, Your Honor. I'll allow it.
No help
That's
from
toxic
Screen
positivity.
Australia.
I'm sorry. In case you haven't noticed, Pete, I'm black.
Daddy, I don't believe him.
You have to believe him, honey. He's 1/16th Aboriginal. Wait, what if someone sees us?
Let the cookers watch.
The most progressive movie.
Wow, the rainbow serpent. Sounds like a really cool gay snake. It's not a gay snake!
Superprogressivemovie.com. This is great satire right there. You got to love that. And Jeff, something you were mentioning earlier about how the wokeness has gone away. Check out this chart right here. Check out just to show you exactly how when you change tweak a few things, geez, how it changes everything.
Identifying as male or female. So in other words, choosing some other identity than male or female. The timeline of this graph is 2016 to 2025. In 2020, the number of people, according to Andover, that identified as something other than male or female spiked from about 1% to almost 10% of young people in that decade. In the past 2 years, from 2023, its spike, its high, to 2025, it has plummeted down from 10% back to about 2%. Two other polls, Fire and Brown, revealed the same trend, Jennifer. What do you think? What do you think this means that all of a sudden fewer people are electing some identity other than male or female?
Well, we can tell you what it means. What it means is that people that stand up, like Joe was talking about earlier, stand up and push back and say, no, we're not We don't care what you want to call yourself, what you think you are. We're not standing in line with it. We don't care. And we're not, the pushback is what did it. What it happened with big brands, they put out these woke commercials. Their brand got destroyed. Their CEOs got deleted. They lost market cap if they were public companies. They raised billions of dollars. And so this is how they have found out, because the people said, no, we're not standing for this shit anymore. That's how it happened, Jeff. It wasn't like it was so many any big sort of, geez, I wonder what really turned it. No, that was kind of what happened. And sort of how it sort of came to be. There was a great exchange between Tucker Carlson and Piers Morgan when Tucker appeared on Piers's podcast, and I just want to play this one clip, Jeff, and just have you listen to it. You don't always agree. Yep, I appreciate that. This is the whole thing. We're not going to agree with everything. I appreciate that, Joe. We're not. This is the thing. We're not going to agree on everything. I told John to his face, I don't agree with some of your positions. I'm going to support you wholeheartedly because we need your voice. And if anything, I know Deaton will do the right thing, and he'll follow his heart, and he'll follow with conviction. And that's something I appreciate about the guy. But I don't have to like everything. But I'll tell you what, he's going to get a lot more done and shake up Washington and a lot more than Markey's going to. And the way I've seen him talk on his feed, look, I don't have to agree with everything. I don't agree with everything Trump's done. There's some things that Trump has done that I question. So it's like, no, you're not going to agree with everything. Nobody's a perfect candidate or a person. But here is Piers. Here it is.
Didn't you like and has been improved by new cultures?
Oh, well,
tell me, what didn't you like before? What are you glad is gone from the Britain you grew up in?
Let me tell you, if you came to London in the 50s and 60s, the food was crap. Absolute crap.
Well, it was that way in the 80s when I was here.
Right. Now we have some of the best gastronomy.
Amazing.
Insane. That is the argument used. Why should we flood our country with other people? Well, chicken curry. Thousands of young girls get raped. Chicken curry. And I know this might shock a lot of people. You're going to want to be prepared for this. But me, as an Irishman, I have made pasta before. I know, crazy.
Really? Oh.
I'm not Italian, but I know how to make pasta. And even crazier is I have made chicken curry before. Crazy. Absolutely shocking stuff. You don't need 1 million Pakistanis in your country to enjoy a kebab. I know this thinking might be crazy to people like Piers Morgan, but I would eat potatoes for the rest of my life if it meant my country, Ireland, was always home to Irish people, that it was full of my own people. I don't want Ireland full of Nigerians, Indians, Pakistanis. I don't want Ireland to resemble England, for England to resemble Germany, Germany to resemble Belgium, for all the natives to be replaced in the name of chicken curry and a kebab shop on every corner. I have no intention of seeing that happen in my lifetime. Ireland should be full of Irish people. And if your excuse to change that is you like a kebab every Saturday, well, to me, that's not a good enough reason.
Nope. That is definitely not a good enough reason, and like XRP Plum said, the good thing about On the Chain, you can agree to disagree, but you're still friends or digital friends.
100%.
That's why we love the platform here. But to that point, Chip, I like curry. I prefer kebab more than curry. I love sushi. I love Thai food. I like having
100%.
a variety, but when I walk out my front door, I don't want to, necessarily be in that country specifically. I like being able to say, hey, you know what, we're a melting pot. We have people from all over the world that come to our country, to the United States, but they come here to embrace American US culture, right? And there is a culture here in the US, and they come here to embrace it. They want the freedom. They want to build businesses. They want the best for their family. They want freedom of speech. They love the fact that we have a constitution. They come here for that. They're not coming here from their countries to displace everything that we believe in here and bringing their shit to our country. Just like we don't want people in New York that are moving here because they're going to flee the socialists up in New York. I don't want them to bring their shit politics down to the state of Florida. I would rather put a massive wall with barbed wire on top of at our border and say, hey, you guys can stay in Georgia, or maybe even put it further north and don't even let them out of New York to begin with. But that's the whole point. Like, don't bring your shit to my state. Don't bring your shit to my country. You come to my country, come to my state, you embrace full force, full-fledged exactly what we're doing over here. I'm not going to live in your country because of the shit you have over there. And so you look at like the difference between like Pakistan or India. What's wrong? Why are they two distinctly different countries, right? And the direction, and it's a very similar,
Jeff.
right? And it's really interesting, but at the same time, I enjoyed going over to India. I don't want to live in India. I don't want, I don't want to see our country turn into what they have over there. And the people that live over there don't want to see it either. They want to come here because of what America is. And people love going back to their home countries because they miss it, because it's in their heart, but yet they still want to come home to their new country. And that's a commonality, I would say, with people that have moved here, into this country, is that it's great going home, and experiencing the home culture and the commonality, but hey, I'm ready to go back to my home. And that's just how it is, but we don't want the third world in this country.
No, listen, there's a reason you live in a shithole. There's a reason there hasn't been any technological advances. There's a reason that you treat women like property, worse than most people treat their dogs or their cats. I mean, it's insane to see what's going on. And if your so-called religion commands people to kill people that don't think like you, I'm sorry, we've got that sounds more like terrorism to me than anything else. Here we go. Here's Tucker challenging peers. Let's take a look at this.
Say the word faggot on camera?
No.
Why?
Because
you don't want to get arrested, do you?
Doesn't want to be arrested.
Because it's so harmful to people?
No.
Is that like gay bashing? What's wrong with that?
No, would you use that word?
Faggot?
Yeah.
I just did.
Yeah, but would you use it?
Faggot.
Okay, but why?
And I'm using it because you're not allowed to, because you're...
I'm allowed to.
Go ahead.
I don't want to.
Say, I love gay people. Faggot.
No, I'm allowed to. I just choose not to.
Totally. So this guy, Jeff, I don't know who this guy is. I just came across him. So he does a great Tucker Carlson and a Piers Morgan. So he's having a mock debate. This is a mock debate. But if you listen to him, it's the same guy doing Piers. I mean, is it 100% spot on? No, but the mannerisms are phenomenal. Look at this.
Brilliant. Thank you for doing this.
Welcome to London.
So, why is everybody gay here?
What do you mean?
Like, why are all British people gay?
Well, not all gay.
Oh, I mean, of course they are. It's like everybody here is just a real faggot.
Well, that's not a very nice word to use, is it?
Well, I mean, you're not going to use that word on camera?
Well, no.
You don't want to get arrested, do you?
Well, it's nothing to do with being arrested.
Oh, so just say it. Just say the word faggot.
Well, I don't want to say it because I think it's unnecessarily offensive.
Oh, right, really? So you don't want to be offensive, but you'll happily get involved voluntarily in a war to save Poland from the Nazis! Nazis! What even is that?
Well, hang on. We didn't just volunteer to get involved in World War II. That's claptrap.
I don't even care about any of that. Can you just say faggot, please?
Oh, come on. I'm not going to use the F word. You know that.
Right, and I can see that because you fear that you're going to be arrested, obviously. But you know who wouldn't arrest you if you said that, right?
No. Go on.
Putin.
Well, so what?
Putin!
What's your point?
Putin! But really, that shows that, like, Russia is less of an autocratic state than England.
Bullshit.
Right? Like, period.
Well, hang on. Here's a challenge for you. Say Putin's a gay faggot. Cat caught your tongue?
Well, no, I mean, why would I ever say that? I don't want to use words to insult people, like, personally. I just want to be able to use words without them saying, like, shut up! Nazi!
No, you wouldn't dare say it, would you?
I don't know. I mean, what even is this? Like, I guess you got me. Like, what are you trying to say? That I love Putin?
Well, I don't know. You're a free speech warrior, and I don't think you dare say it.
Like, really, I have more in common with a Pakistani cab driver than I do with you. Like, really, a lot.
That's a sign that multiculturalism works, isn't it?
I don't care. It's like, it's just so dirty here. Like, in London, the testosterone level is so low, like, really low.
Well, hang on. I guarantee if I took you to a football game...
I don't want to talk about soccer. I want to talk about the gay thing.
I can see that.
It's like, how did everybody become gay?
Well, we're not all gay.
Why are you gay?
Oh, do you not like gay people? Honest question.
You know, I don't mind gay people. Like, especially retarded gay people. I love them, actually. I interviewed one on my show the other day, and he was, like, really retarded and gay, and everyone was like, Nazi! But it's like, would you ever use the word retarded?
No.
Really? What about retarded faggot?
Well, no, not really, because it's offensive.
Anyway.
Oh, my God.
So this is...
a little much.
This is Ava Vanderbroek from from the Netherlands, and she chimed in on this whole conversation.
I usually don't like to discuss or react to specific individuals, but I think today I'm going to make an exception because I just saw the discussion between Tucker Carlson and Piers Morgan discussing the demographic change in the UK, where Tucker pointed out, rightfully so, that white people, Britons, are soon becoming a minority in their own country. And Piers Morgan reacted to that, saying essentially, why would that be a problem? At least we've got good food now. So let me get that straight for you, Piers Morgan. You are witnessing the rape, replacement, and murder of your own people, and your response to that is, well, at least we've got chicken curry now. Piers Morgan embodies everything that is wrong with Britain and embodies everything that is wrong with this specific subgroup of like right-wingers that aren't truly right-wing. They fail to protect their heritage, they fail to protect their future, and they have zero true patriotism and zero true love for their own identity. But he just became anti-woke at a moment in which it already wasn't risky anymore really to become anti-woke, because, well, you know, other people paved the way for Piers Morgan to become anti-woke, and in fact, the people who did that were the people that he used to attack, and still attacks, by the way. So once again, Piers Morgan, as I said, I don't like to discuss like individuals, but Piers Morgan embodies a bigger issue. And he's a despicable, weak man. And he tries to continuously get me on his show, by the way, which is hilarious because he blocked me on X when I called him a backtracker after he said that the facts changed regarding the vaccines, the COVID vaccines, because he wanted that to be mandatory, remember? And he refuses to unblock me, so I'm not going on his show. You know, I'm not gonna sit on his show under his rules when he refuses to debate me on the public market square of ideas. So yeah, that's Piers Morgan for you.
Loser. That guy does a pretty good Piers Morgan, and the laugh. The laugh is spot on there.
Cool stuff.
Tucker dropped the ball with his Putin interview. Putin wanted America to hear what he had to say. Tucker couldn't see it.
Yep.
When George Carlin contacts you, those words look good or bad. Yeah, Carlson was great. Indeed. Let them eat. Whatever that is. Thank you for getting rid of the scammer that was going in there.
Jamie said, what the hell are we watching? Between those two, that was funny.
It was some funny stuff, wasn't it?
That was pretty funny. We're an hour and a half into this thing.
Yep.
Got to get ready for tomorrow.
We need to get out of here, man. We need to get out of here. But let's play this one thing. So just a real quick interview, Jeff. This guy goes in the street talking to these protesters in England and asks them a real important question. This is how it always goes because they're so full of shit.
Wondering if you'd like to go down on a list saying you're willing to take the refugees into your home.
Of course not. Only problem is I rent.
You rent?
Yeah.
Maybe an issue?
Yeah, because they've got, well...
Going on a list of people that's actually willing to adopt a refugee, take them into your home?
No, I'm sorry, I can't.
You can't take one? You don't have the space? My name's Jim.
I love this.
Just because you've got that refugees welcome here, I'm just wondering if you'd like to go on a list of people that's willing to actually adopt a refugee and take them into your home?
Well, if I had any space, I would.
If you had any space.
It wouldn't be...
Right. Excuse me, sir. Would you be willing to adopt a refugee?
I would be willing, yeah, if I had the space.
If you had the space?
Yeah.
So, where should we put them then?
Where should we put them?
Yeah. Would you be willing to have a refugee in your home?
Yes, if I had room.
If you had room, it's funny that.
Yeah.
All right, smashing. Yep. Excuse me, my love, will you go on my list of people that's willing to adopt a refugee?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Any reason in particular?
I don't. What sort of refugee are you talking about?
Thank you, love.
It's how it always works. Nobody, and then the ones that did take them. Remember the gay couple that took them in? They both got beheaded. They offered up their home, gave food, clothing, and they both got beheaded because that's what happens to gay people when you're taking an Islamist. So there's what happens. So that didn't end well.
Fought them over there so that we didn't have to fight them over here.
Don't worry, we're fine to do that too. This is tremendous. If I had room,
I had room.
Well, I think you do. I think you could put an extra bed in your bedroom. And I love when he asked the one guy, so where should we put him? He's like,
Yeah, I don't know. And they're not even refugees. That's the joke of it all. Like, refugees from what? Like if all these people that are out protesting would put their time and effort into going over to that country and saying, hey, what's wrong in the home country where we're bringing these so-called refugees from? What's actually going on over there? How can we fix your problems? How can we teach you guys? We don't want to fix it. We're not going to do it for you, but how can we, help you guys fix your problem? Oh, wait, you guys actually don't want to fix your problems over there? Well, you're not a refugee. It's mind-boggling to me. We don't actually have a giveaway today, Chip. So
you see my new nickname? It's calling me Shorty now. I don't know why I got that nickname, but apparently I got this new thing. I don't know how I got that nickname, but somehow I did. Shorty. Context is important, but I think Jessica Rabbit got it right. I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way. That's a good one.
That way. That's good.
Just drawn that way. That's a good one. Well, guys, that's it. That's all the time we really have here. I think it's time to get out of here. We'll be back again tomorrow night with some more debates, some more amazing crypto and geopolitical content for you. And thank you guys for coming by and always supporting the show. They sure do. Absolutely. 100% love all that stuff. So, Jeff, anything before we get out of here?
That's all we got. But Reborn John says, right, have an awesome weekend, everybody. Thanks for the show, Jeff and Chip. And we'll see you guys on the next one tomorrow night, Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here. Check you guys out.
On the chain, Chip and Jeff.
Mark.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.